náttúrunni til þín. Gott CBD einfaldlega betra.
Herðu, kæru hlustendur, velkomin í Alkastið í boði Þvottahússins. Við erum semst að halda hérna áfram og mér langar að kynna hérna til leiks nýjan mann. Það er semst Arnóri Jónsson, a.k.a. Nóri Breiðholt.
Já.
Og svo er það ég sjálfur, Gunnar Dan Wiium, a.k.a. Cliff W. Og hérna, við semst ætlum að halda áfram hérna í vetur með hérna þessa þætti Alkastið. Og hérna
Kast úr öllum áttum.
Við ætlum að kasta úr öllum áttum. Þetta er í boði Þvottahússins og þetta er sem sagt, þetta er tæknilega fyrsti þáttur Alkastins. 100. og annar þáttur Þvottahússins.
Já.
Þannig að ég ætla að halla mér hérna aftur og leyfa Nóra Breiðholt að taka við. Gjörðu svo vel.
Já, takk fyrir það. Já, well, for our first formal conversation interview here, we're going to conduct it in English. And we have a very special guest with us. So would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Jana Napoli from New Orleans.
Welcome. Welcome to the Alkast.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit about maybe your background, where you come from and what brought you here?
Well, I do come from New Orleans, which is in a sort of non-representative American city where there's great interest in the other, which I carry with me. And at about 12 years old, I found a book in my mother's little library, paperback. I had found the Rubaiyat by Mickael Omar Lakhlifi, which I did not read, but I loved the pictures. And I found this book, and I could look at hands and read stories.
From hands.
Yes. Written by Le Comte Saint-Germain, whoever he was.
Yeah.
And it was my crutch because all my cousins were much younger. They were born earlier than I was. And the parties were great. And the boys were so good looking because they were older than me. And I was like plastered against the wall. So this book was my savior. If I could grab a hand and look up something in the book and read it, everyone stood in line to talk to me.
So that was at the age of 12?
13 by the time I was
13. So could you say that was the start of maybe
an avocation till I hit Iceland?
Yeah.
When everything just went.
Can you tell us a little bit about this book? What was the topic, the subject of the book?
It was called Practical Palmistry. And it was a French guy who was the it of palmistry and was all over the States and other places at the time. I found out just recently in Iceland, but it was just a book to me at a young age.
But was it, did it show pictures?
It did. It showed pictures, and this line is, this is how you think, and this, line is, how you feel, and all kind of stuff that, of course.
And it's in the palm and in the fingers as well.
It's the shape of hands. The shape of hands are formed by the testosterone, estrogen levels of your mother when you're being made, and the lines in your hands are made by your nervous system.
Really?
And they start showing at about 12 weeks of gestation.
And this is like scientifically like proven. And
whatever, they're always reproving, but right now, yes, it's scientific that they can see it. They because they can change the lines. Shape of your hand is, you're not getting long fingers at 40. They're short and stubby. They're short and stubby. So, but it all means something. So it's a complex. It's like a body. It's all here. This is everything. It's your past. It's how healthy you are right now. It's how much trauma is going on in your life. Iceland has an incredible amount of people with high blood pressure, red hands with white spots. Once I've got your hand in mine, I have all of you.
Really? All?
All, yes.
Sounds scary.
Yes, all the old guys who come, because when they come to me, they have to bring a guy so I can keep the statistics level, men and women. And these guys come in like, oh, and they give me a hand, and it's like this, like, don't get too close. And I pull those fingers down and hold their hands. And at the end, people my age, really old, I say, did I say anything that hurt your feelings? And they go,
Oh, poor guys.
No. Yeah.
But some lines, they must be, from, like you say, from early childhood. But what about, if I've been working with my hands, like hard labor work for like decades, it must produce new structure, yeah?
No, I can see the old hand, the thick hand with the thick nails and it's broad and it's bulging, and you can still see it, except it's soft now. No one is, very few people are working young at 3 and 4 years old like they did 75 years ago, helping out, whatever. Everybody was, farming or fishing and something else.
Yeah.
So that changed. Okay. You can see it.
Yeah. But I would like to ask you a little bit more about your personal interest. When you first came into palm reading, was it like something that spoke to you?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, just from the get-go? From the
get-go. It was like, wow, like mystery maps to everybody. How fun.
Yeah.
What I didn't like was at 13 years old, there's nothing about yourself that you think is right. So I looked at my hand and I thought, I'm not like that. In that book, something's wrong because it says I'm like this. And I am someone else, which, anyway, I grew out of that.
Yeah.
But I was interested.
Yeah. And did you immediately start the...
That's it. I was going to parties with it.
Yeah.
Sneaking it out the house under my arm, going to parties.
Okay.
Yep.
But does it come to you like naturally? Do you have an instinct for it, or did you have to like learn it academically and memorize stuff? Or
yes,
or do
both.
you have a feeling for it?
The feeling is that it's very complex. It's like being a doctor. So you can read all these things, but you have to collate them into what are the real operational forces? What are the gifts in the hands? What are the ability to perform on them are? So that's and to speak the language that the person in front of me can understand. Because my goal is, in some odd hubris on my part, is that I can make the person sitting in front of me happier. Not by telling stories, but by connecting their capacity with their ability.
Maybe give him like some kind of a confirmation.
Oh, or a story that
or
would
a
make
story that maybe he deep inside knows himself, but he's not able to like reach it before he hears it from someone else.
The wonderful thing is teenagers. I said, son, just put it in your pocket. One day you'll want to take it out. Just like I was at their age.
Interesting. I was curious when I was eating dinner tonight. I was thinking about, Arnór, he had the script, so I wasn't worried about that so much, but I was thinking about dogs and animals. What about reading the palms of dogs?
No, but this is really, don't get me started. I've like got a head full of all kind of stupid stuff. Chimpanzees in the wild, our closest cousin in the sapien hierarchy, half right dominant and half left dominant.
Which means?
We think that when I tell people you were born to be left-handed, because I put their left
you
thumb on
told me I was born to be left-handed.
Because because it's true. You put your left thumb on top. I didn't make you do it. And so this guy's right. So everybody, because the left hand, the old right brain, sees everything, notices change, asks questions like, no, I was there this morning. It didn't look like that, and has depth perception and loves metaphor and stories and sagas and reads literature and gets the joke.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think church and state are interested in that individual?
No.
So the right hand, hunting, language, new left brain, it likes lists. Like the plumber, and this woman is trying to say, and then this, just tell me what you need, lady, just give me the list. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So those left-handed, more women adapt faster than men.
Mm-hmm.
It's little, they get it. Everybody's handing stuff with the right hand, they're picking it up with the right hand.
But when you say you were supposed to be left-handed, what does it mean? Why am I not left-handed then?
Oh, because you learn to use your right. Because the scissors are right-handed. The person who's raising you is right-handed. Yeah.
What about all the left-handed people? They weren't taught to...
Most, everybody says, oh, but my grandmother was left-handed. And all the girls say, I still sew something with my left hand. And people who are, the old people learn to be right, but they still ate with their left hand. So
really?
all the kids are still learning to be eating with their left hand. Yes.
Are you you're not left-handed?
No,
Yeah.
but I remember stories from my grandmother that she used to say some of her siblings growing up were naturally left-handed, but their left hand was taken and tied behind their back. Because
really?
they weren't supposed to be left-handed,
right?
Because the left hand in Iceland, it was called rasshendin, or the ass hand.
Ah.
Yes, anything they could say to get people to follow the rules. I had in Washington, D.C., in the Subsecretary of Education's office, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, and I was working with teenagers. The system sucks. What do they learn? And this is what the man in charge of the office said. They learn to stand in line.
Mm-hmm.
That's learning to be right-handed.
Because now I'm watching Notice hand here.
Mm-hmm.
And he puts his right thumb on top of his left one. Naturally.
Yeah, that's it.
While I naturally put my left thumb.
So
interesting.
And then there's people who are ambidextrous, can't put one thumb on top of the other.
What do you mean? Who are they?
Ambidextrous, the people who do everything with two hands.
Do you know any of them?
Yeah.
Really?
A lot of sea captains, skippers, a lot of them are ambidextrous.
But this is learned behavior, of course.
No. As far as decode and all of those people know, there are 7, I can't remember, 7 or 11, one of those not even numbers, markers that appear on neither right or left-handedness that mark ambidextrous people.
Huh.
So there are also in Iceland people who put their right thumb on top, like this guy, do everything they do, can do nothing with their right hand, do everything with their left hand. And those people can all mirror right.
Really?
And so somebody will say, I can't do that. I said, you ever try? No. And they sit there and they think about it. And that left hand writes backwards perfectly. And the right hand is messy. It's like, woo. Wow. So we're different.
What about feet? Do you read feet?
No.
But can you?
Not really, because the feet are not articulating as in response to action.
Not as much.
Not as much. So they don't contain the same amount of information.
But with the palm reading, is it something that anyone can do?
Can anyone be an opera singer?
No, I couldn't.
Well,
I'm saying yes, you can learn, but to be good at it, it's the difference between a great surgeon and and a bad surgeon. It takes time to be able to really understand how all the parts of the hand relate to each other.
But you're only
But you
reading
can-
the palm. You're not reading the top of the hand.
Oh no, I'm doing fingernails.
You're doing fingernails as well? Really?
Yes, because they're really different. And it shows the changes in Iceland. Tradesmen and the strong men are mostly tradesmen.
Mhm.
People like Agnes Ver.
Mhm.
Magnus is
He's
left.
been interviewed here. He's been sitting in this chair.
Oh, goody.
Yes.
I've done him also.
Mm-hmm.
And he's left dominant
Mm-hmm.
and is ambi. And that's why he wins. That's why he could win against great big old bruisers,
Mm-hmm.
because he could move both right and left. He could pick up that stone with his left knee and he'd get across when the other guys could not carry the big rock.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he can't train some of his men, because I went and watched. Like some guys in a harness are big, but they can't operate opposites,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the mix of left and right dominant that left-handers learning to do things that are right so that you have total control of both sides.
So Magnus Ver, he's like the symbol of like full capacity human.
For physical
physically.
capacity, he's Cassius Clay,
Oh.
left-handed. It's a real big thing in physical sports. Lefties are the big winners, or ambidextrous. Yeah, it's fun,
Yeah, and I
guys.
mean, you have probably many of the greatest Icelandic handball players. They were left-handed. Alfred Gíslason, Siggi Sigurjóns, Siggi Sveins. Yeah.
So and this is the fun thing. That's why, like, I didn't know. Somebody told me that the sea captains, skippers, are always wanting to write the biography of their life. He said, "Oh yeah, all Icelanders write, a book. They're all sea captains telling these tall tales." But if you can use both sides of your brain, like people who are ambidextrous, you have better sequential memory. The new left brain does date, time, year.
Does the diagnose?
But the old right brain remembers the color that changed in the water and what the hill on the other side looked like. So they're great storytellers because they can do placement and environment.
Of course. Interesting.
I don't know if they're good, but they love to tell stories anyway, because they've got all this information.
So depending on if you're left or right dominant, do you then read the dominant hand?
I read both, because the one that you don't use stays most like your recent inheritance, like your grandparents and your parents. And the one that you use, some children are, like whatever. Somebody's dying in the house, you're pregnant and you're like out of your mind trying to take care of some horrible problem. In utero, you feel it. Some people end up with two lines different in their hands already at birth, because it's your nervous system and it's picking up things.
Why aren't the doctors, psychologists and so on, why aren't they using this tool?
They do.
They
women
do.
Women can't go in the hospital with fingernail polish on. You can't go to a surgery with fingernail polish. They're watching those nails and what color. It's a window to your venal system.
What?
Yes. And the way to tell if somebody has carbonic acid poisoning, if they have lung problems from like asbestosis, or line chefs have it too, the nails curve. People, yeah. So they do represent. It was the first science. 5,000 years ago or so, the first book was written in Sanskrit.
In Sanskrit?
In Sanskrit, thank you.
Okay.
Sanskrit. And and it was talking about palmistry because it was like early science.
This is connected to some Ayurvedics.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Why do you think, I don't know, I mean, the Anglo-Saxon habits of the United States say, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Why do you think we show our hands?
I don't know.
If you say...
Because we're making ourselves vulnerable, or...
We are showing...
Ourselves.
Huh. So when a politician stands up and says something and does this, I say, that MF is lying.
And then also, I mean, when you surrender.
Yes. Yeah.
Palms up.
Palms up. Not this. This. Yeah. You could do this.
Yeah.
It's powerful stuff. And it's so wonderful. It's wonderful to see like generations of a family and see what surfaces, what stays, what disappears.
Yeah.
Could you give us an example? If you read his poems, for example, could you?
Yeah. What?
If you could like read his poem, Arnórs poem, and see who he is. If you were, yeah, exactly. Okay. And you could tell us the truth about Nóri Breiðholt.
Yes. Could you? Do you have family from the north?
From the north, no.
Nobody.
Well, I have family in the north, but my family doesn't come from there.
No?
They come from the west.
Really? So really flat hand. So you really want to know how things work. And you have an enormous amount of testosterone. So you only want to do what you can do best, and you have a diplomat's thumb, which means you can talk yourself out of a box. You are really quick.
A diplomat's thumb.
Yeah, it just bends like this. This is, first joint is what you think, and the second is what you do. And so you're quick to action, and you always have the right thing to say. Or if you want to say the wrong thing, you can do that too. And you are a quick, intuitive thinker who is also impatient with people who are slow. Because you're not good at explaining you too fast. And the second time, you say, just give it to me. It's got to get done. So this hand shape is long, and this part of his hand, the ball of his thumb, is big. He loves music and happy times and parties and being with his best friends because he doesn't trust so easily. And he's never going to fight with you. He doesn't fight with anybody. It's not because he's afraid. It's just like he thinks it's a stupid thing to do. And somebody with a thumb like this can just talk you in circles and then stop you where they want. I think it's wonderful. I'm always impressed. And fingers go in and out. So you have a very creative mind because you don't take anything at face value. You want to open it up and understand how it works. So you think, well, 2 to 3, 2 to 4, they make a lot of sense. But 5 to 15 is just bullshit. So you just don't play with it. You take what's interesting for you. You have a big interior world and a lot of intuition, which comes out of this part of your hand. And a big open heart. You are an incredibly kind guy. You have empathy. It's this. And let's see what the other one looks like. So these are the nails. Oh, wow. So this is long, narrow nail here. Ooh, knotty fingers. I always say, I think it's Scott. I don't really know. I don't know, because it's never accepting anything till you figure it out. Your response, can you, this is like blah, blah, blah. And you go, really? No, it's not. Prove it to me. Because there are big joints in his fingers. The nails are flat, and this one is a bit like the old nail, but it's not thick. The old nail covered the whole fingertip all the way to the end. Because his kids, boys were out there at 3 and 4 with their fathers, just helping to do stuff. So that little baby nail was like, had to do some adapting. And that's, I learned from the. Did you ever smoke?
Yes.
See, that's what carbonic acid poisoning looks like. You only have one finger. See how it's rounded? That's the one of the medical tests. This one and this one. And you can be very practical. You can with people who use their intuition a lot more than you do. The headline goes like way down there. So they get really bored and be really creative. They were extraordinarily creative people. And did you see how you have a double line there? Right here.
Yeah.
I think it just surfaces all those years of, people just saying, just keep on working, just keep moving. It was the survival mode piece.
You were actually describing him pretty well because I know him for some years now.
He never asks for what he really wants.
No.
That's it. That's what that line, that's what that means.
He has, occasionally he does. He's
After
straight. He's straight to the point.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, but towards the people he trusts, he does.
That's
Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
But this was all. I mean, this was like a beautiful reading to me. I mean, these were positive, encouraging thoughts. All very positive. But I mean, I'm sure that there must be some negatives here as well. Is that something that you, I mean...
You just jumped over one. I gave you one. You don't ask for what you want right now.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And so when I say to people, so when I say that to people, I say, did you really want to sign a contract with life? Never to have what you really want? Like, what are you doing? And there's little ways to... Change has to be tiny, minuscule to hold on to, and it just.
But do you ever experience like pure evil in someone's hands?
I have seen hands of people who are without sentiment.
Okay.
Have no feeling for the other.
Empathy.
No empathy at all.
How do you describe this?
Oh, all kind of things. It's part of it flat, yellow white hands, and no sociopaths have no lines here.
Really?
But when you bend the thumb.
When they bend the thumb, these things, they don't have any.
You have a lot of lines.
That's why I'm here. I make friends.
Yeah.
I have, your empathy.
You told me when I met you, I know you know a lot of people, but you have few friends, good friends. And you were counting them. You said there were only like 10 or something.
I said you could most probably count the people you really trusted on one hand.
Yeah, because there are like only 5 lines. Really, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's the balance, and we all almost no one lives all the gifts they have. But how to be have enough courage to ask for what you want, to find a way. Like some people have no skill for defending themselves. It's just sort of float around. And
no stamina.
They don't have emotional stamina, that
Mm.
kind of stuff that says, I know the answer. They're never going to stand up and do that. It can be brilliant.
Mhm.
And that they need just to get an education, to get a diploma in something,
Something to reinforce them, yeah?
something that holds them,
Mm.
that they don't have to speak for. It's about balance.
Mhm.
That thing that allows you to, people who have these two fingers, estrogen and testosterone, the exact same length,
Mhm.
those are the people that can stand in the wind. That's one way, because the male and female hormones are completely equal.
Which is the testo and which is the...
This is testosterone, and this is estrogen.
Mm.
Long estrogen finger
Ah.
it's the total mother image, the person who is self-aware and self-assured and say, I'm here and it's going to be okay and we're going to do this.
But what does it mean if this finger is a little bit shorter compared to this one than the other one? It's not
Okay.
the same length of the fingers from from
They can
left
be
to-
different. Yes, they can be different on different hands. Yes.
Why is that?
Because one is really reading your past and the other is what's happening to you since you are in utero developing. One is a total past map
Uh-huh. Which is the left in
in your
my case.
no. Oh yeah, right, because you're using your right hand.
Mhm.
Yep.
I am using my right hand because I thought I was right-handed.
Yes.
Until now.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen a hand that scared you?
Mhm. It was the kid that was in one of these homes, and he had really pointed fingers and his big palm, and so he had no stoppers. He had nothing in his hand, a small thumb. He had nothing that he could use to say, I shouldn't do that. And he was just destined to get in a lot of trouble,
Mhm.
cause trouble. And sometimes when I look at the hand of someone who has no lines here, they're often invalid. They have no one to trust. I don't know how you manage a life like that. And that's that whole segment of Iceland when they said, and we need everybody to work at the fish factories. So at 6 months, you just leave the baby in the nursery and we're going to take care of them. And you just get out there and do this 6 months. You take these infants, and they told all the nurses, don't pick them up. Because if you do, when you put them back, they cry.
Yeah. We have the stories here in Iceland as well.
So this is here. I'm talking about
this
that.
is here.
This is here.
Okay.
So you get people from that group and they have no lines. So it's
an effect of serious trauma in childhood, yeah?
yeah.
But is that something you can develop over
I-
time?
I don't know for sure because I've never had anyone I spoke to come back to me later.
Mm.
But in America, one of the theories is that all the big CEOs are sociopaths because they do
Really?
such terrible
Is
things.
this something you've seen and experienced?
No, I haven't. But it's like one of these popular myths. They're
Okay.
all
Yeah.
sociopaths.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right. Have you been following the news recently? Have you heard about the new the thing that happened in the Mexican Parliament like 3 days ago?
No, what?
There was a UFO expert who presented 2 mummified corpses, UFO corpses, that were found during a dig.
Alien bodies then?
Alien bodies, and it was presented in glass boxes in front of the Mexican Parliament in Mexico City like 2 or 3 days ago. And they even, the university in Mexico did a DNA analysis, and they found out, this hasn't been verified, but this was like a test from the Mexican university, that these bodies, they contained 30% of human DNA and the rest was completely unknown. And the thing was with these alien hands that they only have 3 fingers. So do you think would you be able to use your instinct to read the palms of some living creature from out of this
It would be
planet?
interesting. I have no idea, because I get some people here who only have 3 fingers, but it's for a reason.
I mean, is there a limit? I mean, because
yeah.
People lose fingers and people get like scars and tattoos and scarification and all
And
sorts
it's
of...
rare. I've never met anybody who's missing both hands.
No.
They wouldn't come to me.
No, quite pointless, maybe.
So I met a lot missing thumbs, missing fingers. One day at the Boca Fina, at the main library, it was madness. I had 2 men who had lost their ring finger.
Yeah.
The next day I had a man who lost his thumb.
Yeah.
And there was a woman whose brother, when they were young at the table, stabbed her with a fork.
Really? Not by accident, I assume.
No, that's right.
Really?
So there was a big battle going on there.
I have a carpenter. He's doing the door for my basement. He's actually going to finish it tomorrow, and he's missing 3 fingers on his left hand. Yeah, and it happened like this in a split second in a big saw. So it must be a lot of trauma.
Oh yeah, no, table saws.
He found the fingers in the shelf the day after. Top shelf, because he couldn't find them when he was going.
Could use to the hospital.
He was going to find them and put them in his mouth, because he heard that was the trick, to put them in your mouth and drive to the hospital with the fingers in your mouth, and he only found 1. So did
he get that back?
No, because it wasn't the right way to do it, to put it in his mouth. So he lost all of them. But this must be a big trauma, yeah.
Yeah.
What about like tattoos and stuff? Does that?
Most people don't. Some people do tattoos. I've seen people with tattoos on their hands, but most of it really rare. Most of it is to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then all these pads on your fingers and stuff, you get old and your fingers shrivel up.
What about fingerprints?
That's
Are
right.
you reading them as well? Can you see them?
Not always, So we're taking a real big, close-up picture. But as people get older, that sort of disappears. The skin gets so thin.
But if I understand it correctly, the fingerprints, it only appears on the tips. It doesn't appear on these.
What the sign or those, and that's your DNA. That never changes in your hand. That part is.
And it only is here. Yeah?
That's all we're recording.
But do you read that as well? Fingerprint. Can you see it? You need to.
Sometimes I have trouble, and I take the camera out and I take a picture, and then we enlarge it. I take the picture really close up on my phone.
Then you can analyze it,
and we can see if we can see it. It's usually old people.
Yeah. Interesting.
We fade.
Okay. Yeah, but going from a party trick in New Orleans at the age of 13 to Iceland, I mean, that's quite the journey. So
There's such a change in life, because I was so curious. There were so many left dominant people here. And I was working, doing art exhibits for my State Department, and it was awful. It was a big mess, and I'd be exhausted. And I could come here and go to the hot springs on the way home for 3 days. And I'm reading poems. But I thought, these are people in hospitality. What does that mean? And I wanted to walk around Iceland, to go to all the little villages. Little did I know how hard that would have been, and read poems just to see what was true in all these very intuitive headlines, a lot of intuitive markers. And my friend in England, who was an editor, retiring, he said, "Hannah, can you write something for me? I'm dyslexic. I'm not going to write a grant. It's not going to." She called me a week later and said, "Jana, let's write a book." I went, "Book?" That sounds like important. So it was as if there was a rope pulling me in. And so know enough, you must do 1% of an island.
So this is your reason here in Iceland.
So that's what pulled me into this soup.
And how long has it been?
This is my 5th year of collecting research.
Mm-hmm. How many years do you have left, do you think?
I decided that I want to try to finish this before I'm 80, which is quite soon.
Mm-hmm.
So this 2024 will be the last year I'm collecting.
And so you collect data from each one, from everyone?
From everyone, and their hand pictures and all this stuff.
Do you collect them like names and
Yes, but
social status and stuff like this?
No, but what they do.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about profession, age, and right or left-handed, and like pads on thumbs. I don't know about the rest of the northern countries, but Icelanders, more than 60% of them have big pads of flesh on their thumb.
What does that mean?
Sensitivity to the use of the will. In other words, this is my space. You have to be invited.
Yeah, we're island people.
And this is your space.
Mm-hmm.
I was brought up by a Cuban and a Sicilian father that came from an island, and Sicilians are like that.
So it's the
Cubans
same.
are.
You can see it there as well.
But the difference is, and everybody goes, I said, yes, no one in Iceland is ever going to go up to a stranger and say in the morning, va bene. Right. There's a big difference there and stuff. So that was what still exists in great numbers. Can you define a fixed group of people by the hands?
So this project, it's called Hands of Iceland.
Yeah.
And you've been collecting data for 5 years?
This is my 5th year, finishing up. So there'll be 6. And then everything gets, redacted. Because the SUNY Buffalo's biometric labs promised to take the little face recognition triangles and do them for hands. So that, what am I going to do with 3,000 people? It's beyond to see how many people have square palms. Square palms with long fingers. Does it make a difference if it's north, south, east, west? Is it profession driven? Is it in all age groups the same? Like what stays?
Are you doing children as well? Okay.
Not really little ones, because they can't stay still.
Yeah, but this is the reason why at least one of the blood parents needs to be Icelandic.
Yes, right.
Of course, but it doesn't mean you're not able to read palms of people not from Iceland.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
Yes.
All right. I am also curious about you came to Iceland and you recently had a different kind of trip.
Yes.
You had an ayahuasca trip. You told me in the car over here.
Yes. Yes, that was incredibly interesting from an Icelandic woman who has been living.
It's really trendy in Iceland now to do all these. And they're importing people from South America.
Yes, ayahuasca. And
do you have any experience with doing travels like this from before, like dropping acid or eating mushrooms or whatever?
Yes, I would never drop acid. I'm not pharmacist father.
Okay.
Funny chemicals.
Okay.
Not for me. But when I was climbing through the mountains of Nepal, my friend got some hashish, and that was so interesting. I'm just glad I'm still alive. It's wonderful that when everything else is gone, you can still get down the mountain without killing yourself. Holding to John's hand, and the wind was blowing, and every time I put my foot down and hit the ground, I was grateful because I had no idea where the ground was, and I saw the foam of waves coming up to my feet and receding. It was like I knew enough to know I was not at the ocean front.
But this ayahuasca ceremony, how was it?
It was tough.
Was it scary?
No, but there was parts of it that were painful, like the drops they put in your eyes. I was like, ah.
Why are they putting drops in your eye?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's supposed to enlighten your experience and blow nicotine up your nose. Those were. I didn't know that there was going to be pain attached to this.
So you're not only drinking the cup with the ayahuasca, they're also injecting stuff.
Drops in your eyes and blowing nicotine.
You sure it's
up your
just
nose.
not tiger balm or anything? They're just
no.
pulling your leg.
I have no idea. I
Interesting.
really don't.
Okay.
I went with my friends who had been going and said, why not? When am I going to get another chance?
And what happened? Did you meet the Gaia?
I didn't meet any gods or anything, but I did get to see what the 60s were all about.
Okay, and what is that?
All of these beautiful colors and geometric shapes. The toilet, turned into black and white designs, and everything was beautiful.
But do you think there's a, it's visual and it's beautiful and it has a lot of colors, but does it have a purpose? Why are people going to these trips?
I think it's trying to connect up parts of your brain. That like you lose bridges by knocking out central control, so that you can communicate between right and left brains and problem solve. It seems to the people who can do that don't fit in very well.
In what?
In a system run by right-handed people wanting total control over everything.
Yeah, but does it matter? Not to be able to fit in a system like this anyway.
It depends whether it matters to you or not.
It doesn't matter to me that much.
Well, but I mean, there comes a time when you have to stand in line.
Yes.
Yeah. But are you then waiting or are you just standing in line?
Yes.
I guess that's up to you.
That's what the Cubans said. That's what the Russians brought. They taught Cubans to stand in line. They'd never been able to do it successfully before.
No, but I'm curious because, like I told you in the car, it's a real trend here in Iceland, and like, a lot of people are doing all these microdose procedures with mushrooms, and they're doing full doses, and they're doing ayahuasca and MDMA and DMT and God knows what, and so I'm thinking about, the reason why are we doing it, and like you said, to be able to build this bridge, to be like this human that is fully capacitated,
exactly.
Yes. and to be able to break yourself free from, like you say, like right.
But think about Iceland, 1,000 years of trauma.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have been completely traumatized by nature and poverty and
everything for that. So there is some reason to try to
break down this filter
filter that says not this, not that. Don't pay any attention. Don't answer the questions. Don't look right or left. It's what I think it is. All those rules that everybody had in their box was because half your children died. Your sister died in childbirth. Your two
and you're not
brothers
supposed to
died
talk about it.
You never talk about it because it's too hard. So that makes a tight box for operational skills, and no one is going to die of hunger anymore in Iceland. So those skills become less useful. But they're still stuck in there because I see kids that have, like all those traits in their hands, and I don't think they had any reason for it. It's just.
Would you recommend people to take these trips, and maybe like elderly people who are in homes, for example, and there's a lot of diagnosis with all kinds of depression and anxiety and stuff like this, and these old people in these homes, they are like fully medicated. would you recommend it that
I think
instead of
and I think it would be much better than being
just
drugged
putting
out of your
on
mind, laying in
ayahuasca
a bed
trips?
with straps on you? Yes. I think ayahuasca is a little bit too hard for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried ketamine.
Mm-hmm.
I had two adults who had to walk me out with the second one. I couldn't stand up. And as soon as I got to the door, I projectile vomited across the shrubs.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was just...
So ketamine is not something you would recommend?
Meant for anybody that's I'm 77.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in my age group should be doing that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think that a lot of things are better than getting drunk.
Mm-hmm.
But what about like the afterwards, after the ayahuasca experience, for example?
Yeah.
Days after.
Yeah, that was easy. That was easy to get past. Ketamine took a month. I had a car accident. It was a mess.
But with the ayahuasca, did you feel any change in yourself? Did you feel better or worse or the same?
It was very calming. I don't think it lasted.
No,
it was very calming.
Did you gain anything from it?
As an artist, it was great to see images. That was really fun. And I know people who, younger than I am, who go like every year. So people who are having trouble with, like, on the bipolar a little bit, it's really helpful. People with strong depression find that twice a year, this
bridge making.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference in their daily capacity.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just dyslexic.
Do you think you will do it again?
What?
The ayahuasca.
No, man, I don't want anybody, like it hurt. Just blowing stuff in your eyes and up your nose. It's like, oh, it was pretty, but
Intense.
Intense. I want to do the mushrooms.
All right. I can help you with that.
Okay, great. Yeah, because
come by my shop tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's anything that's coming out the ground can kill you, but it's not as lethal as making a small mistake by a human being.
No.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. Nori, do you have anything left?
Yes. If you could read anyone's palm, who would you read?
It was interesting. I tried to get Big Vigdis to read her palm. Yeah. She wouldn't let me.
Our president?
Yeah.
Why not? Why wouldn't she?
I don't know. She's trying to have a private life. But I just want to tell her daughter, just take the pictures. Take beautiful pictures with a side light. It's like, it's an important thing to have.
And she didn't. She didn't want to.
She didn't want to.
Okay.
And she's old enough to do just what she damn well pleases. Yeah. It wasn't me.
So she's on your bucket list.
Yeah. She's on my bucket list.
Must be other people.
Oh yeah, of course. Who doesn't want to read? In fact, I've read the Dalai Lama's palm because he had a palm print. I was in Tibet on a wall of a.
So you can do that just by a picture or a print.
Well, it wasn't enough because there are unknown people.
This is Skopan Skritla.
Yes,
they've been here as well.
Yes,
yes, we love Skopan Skritla.
Who? Skopan Skritla.
I will explain later. But this song you had on your mobile.
Oh, this. Oh, yes. Really?
Yeah. They've been here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You should read their hands.
Yes.
They're on speaker. He's allowed to be with if he wants.
Find. No, what I need is a bucket list from you guys. It would be really interesting, because both things are important.
I'm thinking collect all the CEOs from the big pharma industry.
Yep.
It'd be interesting to see how many lines you count.
Yeah, I mean, you could
They're not
set
gonna
up shop in Alþingi.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, exactly.
What's Alþingi?
Parliament.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I've done some of the women in Parliament. They've come to me. They were interesting, but if nothing gets done here by me asking myself for it.
No.
Someone has to ask for me. So if you know how to do that, that would be wonderful. And I had some beautiful poems in Osterland of young women who were entering the political scene. Because what is needed now everywhere in the world is that men are terrified. They're losing old white, brown, yellow, green men are losing space to women, or they feel like they are.
Not all men.
No, but in general, the guys in politics, let me tell you.
But is there like a trait? Can you tell like
I was reading some young woman's poem and talk about, like be put in my place. I'm reading a poem and she's a new baby, and I say, wow, you are so smart and flexible. And I was able to get things done without showing your hand, allowing someone else to get the credit. That's what's needed right now. Change is hard. And so to soften it, because there's no reason to shout and scream and make anybody angry about anything. That's like dumb. So women with flexible hands, and I'm looking at this girl, I said, you have great memory, you're intuitive, you have every gift. She's in her 20s. She said, well, actually, I'm watching the Parliament on TV with the baby, and I'm reading all of the laws of Iceland right now. And I felt like this big. She's like so much ahead of me.
There's still hope.
There is great hope.
Yeah, but what I was wondering is like, is there a big of a difference between a politician's hand and an artist's hand or an athlete's hand?
Oh.
Is that something?
No, they like, I've had some young men that had incredible hands that had no stress lines in them.
Really? Where are the stress lines?
All these things in the fingers. So you can see mine right here, these lines.
Yeah.
And here.
Yeah.
You can really see mine. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
None of them. And I thought, how wonderful to be a young athlete, to love to compete and be in a place that is so comfortable that you don't have to be anxious about anything.
The stress lines, are they in the fingertips or in the one below?
All. It depends on where they are in your hand. But, here.
I have a lot of stress lines. I think I'm under constant stress. And I actually enjoy it. I think I enjoy it,
You think you're right-handed.
No, it keeps me on my toes, to be a little bit stressed out, but not too much.
So there are differences, but I read Bill Clinton's poems.
Really?
Oh, really?
And I read Oprah Winfrey's poems.
Oh, right.
Personally?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, Bill is made out of Teflon, just like they say. Everything just flies right off. It doesn't stick.
Yeah.
But
he didn't have sex with this woman.
Yes,
Did he tell you?
He didn't have to.
Oh, God bless him. So, but he has a total recall.
Which means?
He remembers everything he's ever seen or heard.
Really?
A friend of mine was a Rhodes Scholar with him. He said, I hadn't seen Bill for, like 30 years. And, we're all set off all together. And he said, oh, hi, Philip Carter. It's
Well done.
Blow you away. So he had that in his favor. And huge amount of energy. Talk about good time, Charlie. He is ready to party 24/7.
Yes, we've noticed. Yes.
Oh, God. But yeah, but they're all kind of different people in politics. But no athlete is without a long ring finger.
Can I see
That's
yours?
that's competition. Yeah,
Oh, it's-
do this. So they all athletes have,
Uh-huh.
so you're competitive.
Yes.
Did you ever play sports? No? Yeah.
He does the Ironman.
Yes.
And even the last time he did it, he ran the marathon in like 7 hours and he threw up like 38 times, yeah?
14.
14 times.
Wow.
Say, you could do the ayahuasca. You wouldn't mind, man. I looked at all those girls crying and throwing up, and I thought, I am not having it.
Why are they crying and throwing up?
Part of it's if you're always looking for a stronger high,
Yeah.
for some reason it's hard. Your stomach.
Is it tension? Is it
I
tension?
have no idea. I did not ask him. It did not look like fun.
Really?
For them.
For me, they were doing it to get wherever it is they wanted to go.
Arnóri, we should do this. We should go out together and throw up and do ayahuasca. I think it would be good for us. We
Yes.
would be more loose.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but it wasn't something that, like ketamine was dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Let's
All
not
my
do
young
ketamine.
friends were so pissed with me.
Yeah, let's not
How
do it.
dare you go do that without talking to us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
We're not doing ketamine.
No, don't do that. But
That's
try.
not natural.
No, exactly.
No, it's not.
No, it's a horse tranquilizer actually.
Well, no,
Isn't it?
no. What it was they think that's what the pharmaceuticals could sell it for because they got it as to use instead of like Novocaine and stuff. They thought they had found a new chemical that would perform like all the other things that painkillers.
Mhm.
And it didn't work, but they could use it on horses. It wasn't meant for horses.
No, okay.
But it was just a failure for its original target. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
There we are.
On that note,
Are we done?
we finish off with the horse tranquilizer.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're before we say goodbye, we have to do some sponsor stuff. Do you enjoy cannabinoids?
Cannabinoids?
Yeah, like CBDs and CBN and stuff like this. You should try it.
Yes, I
All right.
have some. The kids gave me some jellies.
Yeah. Let's you won't get high and you won't throw up. You should try. It's like a bottle with you just do like this. You know how it works, and just do a lot. This is this is CBG.
So what is
Famous last word.
This is
Just do
cannabinoids.
a
This
lot.
is from the plant
yes, right?
cannabis sativa.
But what is it's good for me?
It's there's a system within your body called the ECS, the endocannabinoid system, which is actually designed to absorb these units from the plant, different cannabinoids. There are around 130 cannabinoids in the plant, and THC is the one that makes
Doesn't
you high.
get THC is okay.
Yeah,
and
but this doesn't contain a lot of THC. You won't get high using it, but you will sleep well. So if you start with the CBG...
But they were saying that you don't go into deep sleep when you use this.
I'm knocked out every night.
No.
But for deep
Do
sleep...
you dream?
Sometimes, yes.
Because that's the deep sleep is dream sleep.
I thought we all dream all the time. We just don't remember them. Yeah. But this is CBN. This is really good for sleep. You should try everything if you want.
Yeah.
I know Arnóri, he's going to try everything. What do you...
CBN.
CBN, you want to try that?
Is that for sleeping?
This is...
I haven't been sleeping well this week.
Just do a whole one. Þetta sem sagt frá gott CBD, eða Hemp Living. Þeir eru upp í Urriðaholtsstræti 26 held ég. Og það er þetta verslarleiki í vefverslun undir nafninu gott CBD. You should try the paste also. This is 50% CBD. This is like the paste you had in the Nepal. So I just squeeze a little bit. It's just like a rice. You just put it on your finger. Yes. Yeah, just take it this under your tongue. Do you want a rice as well?
Hvað þetta?
Þetta 50% CBD. Já. Og þið þarna úti sem að hlusta, ef þið viljið kaupa ykkur gott CBD og þið vafa hvert þið að fara, þá farið annarkot í vefverslun eða upp í búð og þið getið notað afsláttarkóðan Þvottahúsið sem gefur ykkur 1.000.000% afslátt.
Þetta CBN, þetta bara bragðgott.
Já, þetta það.
En þetta paste þarna, það minna bragðgott.
Do you want to try something more? What did you have? You had the CBG?
And paste, just as long as I get up to the fifth floor, guys.
Let's do the CBN as well. I have also, but I'm not going to let you try this. This is something else. I don't know the name of it in English. What do you call these?
Oh, yes.
Stíll.
No. I'll think of it in a minute. But yes,
All
you
right.
put those up.
It's
your
50
rectum.
milligrams, but it needs to turn like this because I've tried it turning like this and just kept coming back, you know, and I had to really squeeze for like 3-4 minutes. But then I was just completely put to sleep because you bypass the liver, probably.
Yes.
No, or the kidneys. The kidneys. So this is good if you want the CBD up in the other hole.
No.
So, but Jana, it was so nice to have you here tonight.
It was great, guys.
And I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
You know, this is
no ketamine for us.
No ketamine for us.
Yeah, definitely.
But we might do ayahuasca, and we're gonna really concentrate on
ironing our hands.
Yes.
Get these stress lines out.
Do some
That's it.
camouflage.
They said
camouflaging our hands.
That's what people used to do. They just sand their fingers so they wouldn't have fingerprints.
Why wouldn't you want to have fingerprints?
If you were stealing something.
Really?
Yeah. So
Haven't you seen Seven? Wasn't it in Seven?
He took his fingerprints off.
Yeah.
Burned them.
Yeah.
It's intense.
Yeah.
All right. Ertu sáttur, Nóri?
Já, þetta mjög gott.
Fyrsti þáttur þinn?
Gott stöf.
Já, við munum halda áfram í vetur, svona 1-2 þættir í mánuði. Ekki? Alls konar stöf. Mikið drama.
Já.
Klám, fetish, buttplugar.
Og bara hugmyndir úr öðrum vítum.
Já, algjörlega. Næsti þáttur, þá ætlum við að taka fyrir geimverur.
Já.
Það er mikilvægur viðmælandi að koma til okkar þá, sko.
Með persónlega reynslu af geimverum.
Með persónlega reynslu. Hún tók það sérstaklega fram.
Það bara hlökkum til.
Jana, thank you. Arnóri will drive you home.
Já.